I bet we're live from Tampa, Florida. St. Petersburg, Florida, whatever. It's all the same. Largo. Soon to be St. Petersburg. Alright. So let's get everybody caught up to speed. What were you working on last day or so?
I was working on my portfolio page, and I recently discovered that what I was doing was unconventional, so I'm now using hopefully code that's more conventional. I have rebuilt a second menu bar. Looks totally different from the first one. Did you want to see it?
No. Not right now. We'll wait a little bit. Did you want to show it? Is that what you're asking? No? Okay. Yeah, we'll wait till you're done. You can show it to me if you want some help. Let it be a surprise. Alright. So, were you able to get to any JavaScript yet?
Here, for. What do you mean? We've been doing JavaScript.
On your own, though. Have you been...
Well, I've been doing the notes and going through it, so...
So you've been doing that also, then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a little bit behind from what we are doing, but I'm trying to catch up.
Cool. Alright, so... let's go ahead and continue on the JavaScript lesson plan. So... So last time we were talking about the difference between double equals and triple equals or strictly equal, and we were saying that it checks equality and value, and so that's the main difference. You remember that each variable has a type. That type could be Boolean, string, number, etc. And then it has a value, the value that's stored in it. So when we're doing triple equals or strictly equals, we're checking for both those values. Alright, so in this example, use the strictly equal operator, so the function will equal if the value is strictly equal to 7. So in this case, with the triple equals, we're checking that it is equal to the number and the value of 7. The type being number and the value 7. Now, there's also not equal. So far we've only been checking that a value is correct, but sometimes we just want to make sure that it's not a certain value. Or if it's not that value, run something. It's kind of like before we were checking true, and instead we're checking not true or false, depending on how you want to look at it. So you can use this not equal operator, and this works similar to how there's a not equals and there's a not equals equals, and that's the strictly not equals operator, and then the not equals operator works in the same way. So in our example here, where 1 is not equal to 2, that's true, right? Now the number 1 is not equal to the character 1 is false. Do you understand? Because both the type, we only care about the value, the string 1.
So because it's a string, it's not considered the same.
Yeah, but because we're saying that it's not equal to it, it is, thus it's false.
What?
So so forget the not for a second. Is 1 double equals to string 1?
I mean double
equals?
Yes.
Okay. Now is 1, so that would be a true statement. Now 1 is not equal to the string 1, thus it's false, because it is equals. You get it? So we're saying they're not equal to each other, but they are. Thus it's a false statement.
Sure.
You're not getting it?
I mean, I get it. I understand what you're telling me, but why?
Why what?
Why would you?
Because these are the tools that you use when you're writing your logic. All we're learning are syntax right now. So this is like something in your tool set, so you need to remember when the time comes that this is available for you to use when you're solving algorithms or you're building your project. Or
So because it's true, it's not true.
Exactly. So it's a false statement. So it's like me saying heads is not equal to heads. Well, that's false because it clearly is equal.
Oh. Okay.
But the reason I show you here is because they're using they're not using a strictly not equals. We only care here about the value, not the type as well.
Okay.
All right. So add the inequality operator. That's what this not equals is called, the inequality operator. And make sure it is not equal to 99. So if it's not equal to 99, we're going to return not equal. If it is, it's going to return equal. Cool. Now there's also the strict inequality operator, which works exactly like the equality operator, except it's the opposite. But it checks the type and it checks the value.
Okay. Why do you need a non-equality operator?
Well, this is one of those this is something that's a little more unconventional in JavaScript. So maybe you don't care. So say there's an input box. By default, usually it's a string. And say you don't really care and you just want to take in the number and you say, look, all I care is that it's a value. If it's 7 string, they meant 7 number. It's all good. It's usually considered bad practice, but it's fine.
Because it works.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is something that's kind of unique to JavaScript because typically other higher languages would never allow you to do this.
JS got it going on.
Yeah. There you go. So testing is something that, as Juan Alexander brings up, testing, you will actually write tests to make sure that your code is running properly. And so sometimes you'll pass a value in and you want to make sure that that's actually not true. Because it shouldn't be if your code's running right.
Gotcha.
All right, so exactly like we were saying, so 3 is not equals to quotation 3, so thus it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're checking the value and we're checking the type. And 3 is not equals to 3 is false because 3 is equals to 3 in value and type. Alright, so here let's go ahead and apply it. So that this is not equals to 17. I wish that they would actually have everybody here type the bulk of this out. Am I incorrect in saying that I think that they should have you guys typing this out? It might be a little bit too much busy work. Okay, so
I like it. I think I should have to be able to type all that out.
I mean, you're getting the VIP treatment right now. They call this the free code camp special. When you get you get my tutoring. It's the FCC special. That's what it's called. No, all right. So similar. So far all we've been dealing with is if things are equal or not equal. There's also greater than or less than. So these are called the comparison operators. They work exactly as you would expect them to work in algebra. 2 is greater than 1. 2 is less than 1 is false. Right? So 2 being greater than 1 is true. 2 being less than 1 is false.
Okay.
5 is greater than 3 is a true statement. 7 is greater than 3. String is also a true statement.
Okay.
Even though it's a string, it represents a number. 2 is greater than 3 is false. And then we have 1 is greater than 9 is false. String 1 is greater than 9 is false as well. So, good luck with your HTML. Godless Monkey, welcome.
Good luck.
And then we have greater than. So, in this case, we'll use greater than. So, if the value we're passing in, the parameter, is greater than 100, we want it to return over 100. if the value is greater than 10, we want to return greater than 10. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So there's also greater than or equal to, exactly like it would be in math, where
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you. That was gonna be my next question.
so greater than or equal to, so 6 is greater than or equal to 6 is a true statement. 7 is greater than or equal to quotation 3 is, or string 3 is a correct statement. 2 being greater than or equal to 3 is a false statement, and string 7 greater than or equal to 9 is a false statement as well. So it works exactly as you would expect it would. It compares the values, not the type, just the values.
Okay.
Alright, so here we'll do greater than or equal to 20, and then here we'll do greater than or equal to 10. Cool. So we also have the less than operator. So far we've been doing greater than or less than. It works in the same exact fashion.
Yeah. This is great. I get all this.
Yeah? Alright, so if a value is less than 25 in our code here, if the parameter we're passing in, we're going to get it to return 25.
Mm-hmm.
So remember, it's going to evaluate if this is a true statement. If it is, it's going to run the code in it.
Okay.
Yep. Hola. Let me see if I can pronounce this name. Dionisio Diaz Adames. Do you think I got that?
That was a whole lot better than what I got.
I get a lot of names on here. I'm pretty...
I'd be butchering them left and right. Hell, I sometimes fuck up my own name, so...
Alright, so there's also less than or equal to.
James.
So James, she's asked me to kind of review this. She's going through it on her own as well. So tomorrow, the stuff that we are doing now, she'll be doing also on her own. So I'm kind of trying to give context as well as explain the concepts. And then tomorrow she'll go or the next day, go and review it. So everything we're doing here is kind of almost like a prep work for her to go into Free Code Camp and start studying the JavaScript. So any questions she has, I don't expect her to remember everything we're going over, but it's more of an introduction. And as she picks up the little bits and pieces and gets to the harder part,
there you go. James Scott's got it.
Yeah,
Lectures.
this is more of a lecture base in which she's going to go back and do them on her own as well. So I don't think this is all it. She's studying 2.5 to 3 hours a day on her own. Currently working on the portfolio project.
You know what? If this is all that it was, I would be a fucking genius if I could just watch someone else do it and be like, yeah, I got it.
Alright, so less than or equal to.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely have my own account and I'm doing it all there.
Yeah, this is the beta, guys. There's nothing on here. So some of the things we're covering right now are just more concepts that aren't even in the production version. So she'll get a little bit extra as well, which is why we're doing the beta and not the Free Code Camp current version. But anyhow, so less than or equals to works exactly as you would expect. Meaning that...
Same, but just opposite.
Yeah, if it's less than or equal to the number we're comparing.
Okay, and then the less than sign and the greater sign and all the not... Those all go before the equal sign.
Yes. So it always goes the less than or greater sign then equals.
Okay, and it cannot never... Is there a difference between switching them? Or?
It just won't work.
Okay.
Let's see. What's this all about? Please, Manu Aurora. I am helping 1 hour a day for 100 days teach my girlfriend to code using Free Code Camp as other resources. Probably for the first 20 days or so, we'll be using Free Code Camp. And mainly because my hand's kind of jacked up. I wanted to do more, but We're waiting on that. So I'm introducing her to topics via Free Code Camp, and then she spends about 2.5 hours a day studying on her own. Let's see. There's a coding show on YouTube called Coding 360? I had no idea.
What?
Is it really? Let's see here.
How new is that?
Look how young I look here.
Yeah. Baby face!
I probably am just gonna get all my videos if I just search for Coding 360. They're all my videos.
I thought he was referencing you.
Oh, is he?
I don't know. I think that's what he's
Did I miss the point? Did it go over my head?
I really thought that's what he was saying, and then when you said that, I was like, oh, did I miss the point?
I was talking about your show. Oh, I don't really. I thought you meant like there's a podcast or something. I was like, oh, all right. All right. Anyhow, guys.
Yeah, he does. He spends like hours on those SEO tags, like for sure. He wants those top spots.
Well, you know what? My fucking channel should have Coding 360 in it. My goddamn name's Coding Tutorials 360. I should have the top spot. There's not like I'm competing with anybody else. Anyhow, guys, saw a little bit of a brain fart there. apparently only I thought he was talking about another channel.
Hey, that's awesome. Manu? Oh God.
I've been following Coding Tutorials 360 for quite a while now. I almost completed the front end part of Free Code Camp. Will it be helpful for me to follow this 100 days of code? It may fill in gaps of what you're doing, but I don't even know if she's going to finish the front end cert in 100 days. But that's going to be the goal of these next 100-day videos. But you may find bits and pieces helpful. All right, so let's continue on. So we have the less than or equals operator here. That checks if it's less than or equal to, in this case, we're going to say 12, and then...
Hey, James, I'll answer your question at the end.
Yeah, we at the end of the video, guys, for the last... We do hour-long videos, and at the last 10 minutes, it's a AMA with April. Ask her whatever you guys want, or me, for that matter. Okay, so in here, what are we trying to get? Let's focus. You seem to understand... about less than or equals, right? It's just basic math. Now, it's not always with numbers, or I guess it is always with numbers, for the most part.
With those?
The less than or equal to, right?
It's always with numbers?
Almost always. For the sake of argument, we'll just say always.
Oh God.
So what are we trying to get? We're trying to get what type of value in here? When we evaluate val is less than or equal to 12, what is it going to return? It's going to return two types of values, or two values.
It's either smaller or equal to.
It's going to say it's going to be true or false, a Boolean value. That's what we're trying to get. All this is doing is evaluating whatever that is.
How do you know it's a Boolean value? There's no Boolean
Because
function.
let's say val is 11. 11 is less than or equal than 12, and that is what? True or false?
It's true.
So we get a Boolean, and this is what this is actually equals. This is...
How do you get a Boolean?
It's evaluating it in those parentheses. You're not returning it or setting to anything. All if statements do is they check if this is true or false.
What if you have like a string argument?
If Dylan is equal to Dylan, that's a true statement. If the number 7 is equal to the double equals to the character 7, or the string 7, that's a true statement. If it's triple equals, that's a false statement, because that's type and value. But all that's going on here is we're checking this. And we're using different operators to say less than or equal in this case.
So it's like an automatic Boolean.
Yeah, not automatic. How to get to the beta free code camp? beta.freecodecamp.com. So
Just like that.
yeah, that's it. The first thing that you could probably guess would be how to do it. All right. So this makes sense, though, right? Like all we're trying to see is
Yeah, it makes sense. I was just curious.
Yeah.
Like if they all have, so it's just a given that it's going to be a true or false. If you look at the statement, if whether it's going to be a boolean or whatever it's going to be, it's just a given. That's what it is.
if you wrote it correctly, that is what it will do. It is evaluating whatever.
I like how it's a yes or no question.
Yes.
And you're like,
Yes. Well, I'm just saying people fuck their code up all the time.
Yes, I am interested. I have been doing different types of versions of this since I was like elementary school because my stepdad at the time, he was a web engineer and he also built computers, and part of keeping the annoying little bratty April busy was to occupy her mind in building computers and typing code out. So
now I occupy her mind with code and her body with other things. So
Anyhow, so yes, I am interested. It's just, even though I went to school for something else, Dylan has shown me.
I've shown her the light, boys. Yeah. I've shown her the light. All right, so thus far we've only been evaluating one statement. What's in here when we do val is less than 5? What we're actually doing is that's called a statement. We're evaluating this statement. The if statement's evaluating, is this true? But you can have more than one statement. And there's something called an and operator. And so maybe we need two things to be true.
Okay, so if this color is blue, then this color needs to be purple.
Well, that wouldn't be in the statement. If the color is blue is the statement that's evaluating, and then the color would be purple. You would return set the variable in what you said. But let's say if the word is sky and the color is blue,
true. It's true.
That if those are both accurate, if both those statements are true, we're comparing one and we're comparing another. We have two statements that they both need to be true or else it doesn't pass. If 5 is equal to 5 and 4 is equal to 3, it fails, even though the first one's right and the second one's wrong.
Right.
All right, so
I got it.
So here we're going to be joining a couple numbers. So we have the and operator. Combine two statements into one statement. So you'll see, you say, okay, well, maybe you didn't catch on to this, but you could actually nest these if statements. But there's no reason to. It's less code. It gets less complicated. So what we can do here is we can actually get rid of this if statement. And we can just use the and operator. And this is crucial to get because a lot of people will fuck this up when they're getting started, and they'll have 10 if statements that it just gets way too confusing, way too much code.
Now, if you're editing code, wouldn't you want it to be like 10 if statements and not and?
No.
Oh.
No. And edit refactoring.
Refactoring
Would be the word.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Refactoring. Sexy.
So combine the two if statements into one statement, which will return yes. If val is less than.
Oh, we have such a good chat. Everyone's so nice. So I just really love good communication.
So if val is less than or equal to 50, and the value that's coming in is less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to 25. So the number, if the number we're passing in here is between 25 and 50, it's true.
Interesting.
But if it's 51, it's false. Even though it's greater than 25, and that's true, it's not true in both these cases. And it has to be true for all the ands. And we could do as many ands as we wanted to get this to pass.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it is exactly as Manu is saying here. Lesser code is better code. It's easier to read. It's easier to understand. Now, there are going to be situations in which you can't simplify your code. Or it's already...
I'm actually having trouble with that right now. I've been like looking at my code, and I'm pretty sure there's like things in there that I can like simplify. That was what was taking me so long, was that I was looking into simplifying it, and I'm like,
well, don't worry about that, because I'm going to review it with you, just like we did with the first project.
yeah, but I want it to be perfect the first get-go.
Your code will never be perfect the first get-go.
Trust me.
Alright, so we did that.
Anything's possible.
Alright, so we have the AND operators that we can use. There's also something called an OR operator. So it's kind of the opposite of the AND operator, where in this case, the AND both have to be true. In the OR, as long as one of them's true, it works.
Oh, that's cool. That was my next question. Yeah. It's crazy how they're on top of it.
Yeah.
Like that.
Do you know if Free Code Camp would accept code that you put on your GitHub for them to review for the projects on the front end? My understanding is you have to put on CodePen. That's just what they ask in terms of submitting it. Although, from what I understand, they're going to be changing how their back-end projects go, and a few changes with their front-end projects, but they're still on CodePen. Good luck with your Python, Godless Monkey.
Thank you, Godless Monkey.
Alright, so...
Good luck to you as well.
So, let's use the OR operator. The way you do the OR operator is with two straight lines. It's right above the shift key right here.
Yeah, I know where it is.
Okay, because I looked for it for a while when I first got started. It's like,
as an English major, I use it. So...
Alright, so if the val
you
is...
looked for a long time, like 20 minutes?
No, 20, like 30 seconds. But a long enough time that I memorized where it was at after that point.
Yeah.
Alright,
which usually takes about 20 minutes.
So, in this case, we're going to do if it's not between... The statement is if val is not between 10 and 20, inclusive. Inclusive, I guess, meaning equal to. So if the value is not... Alright, let's see.
We'll return yes, only if num is between 5 and 10.
So if value is not greater than 10... Actually, that won't work. What am I doing here? I'm going full retard for a second. Alright, so if the value is not between 10 and 20. So if val is greater than...
When they say num...
20, greater than 20. So if the value is greater than 20, or val is less than 10. Hey, Bitcode, thank you, man. Says, let's get this party started with a $5 donation.
Let's get this party started.
Like that.
It started.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. Another $5 towards our 4K goal.
You know what I realized is that my 100 days of coding is going to land on like day 19 for my birthday.
It's not.
No?
Your birthday is in like 2 weeks.
Oh, be optimistic.
Oh, day 19. Yeah. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, you're close. You're right. Day 20. Something like that. Anyhow, thank you for the support, man. If you guys want to support the channel, you can. One of the great ways is through donation if you're able to. If not, the Patreon's also great. But at the very least, make sure to join our Facebook group, Code Tech and Caffeine. The link is in the description. You'll stay up to date on all the greatest coding news and things like that. And occasionally, I'm
curious as to how Bitcode got his name. Because that's a really good name. Bitcode. Like...
it actually is. That's something I thought as well. Okay, so if the value is greater than 20, 21 and above, or the value is less than 10, 9 and above, this will work, as long as it's one or the other.
Okay, so they're asking, though, combine the two if statements into one statement, which returns outside if val is not between 10 and 20.
So here we can get rid of this one, like so. Happy early birthday, Nathaniel.
Yay, May babies, you're a Taurus, you stubborn son of a...
All right, so when an if statement is true, the block of code is executed. We already know that, right?
Yes.
Combine the if statements into a single if statement. So how can we take this statement and
I kind of feel like that was the case.
So how can we take this
Sorry.
and combine it into a single if statement?
With the and. I mean, yeah, with the and or the or. What is it asking? Combine the if statement into a single if.
Oh, I'm sorry. My mistake.
Else.
We're doing an else statement. So instead of writing a bunch of if statements, sometimes we just have to check one thing. And if it's not that, it's the other thing, right? So in this case, if the value is not greater than 5, it's got to be less than 5, right? Greater than or equal to 5. So what we would do is we'd have this if statement followed by an else statement like this. And you'll notice that it's not evaluating anything, because if this hits, nothing happens here. But if it doesn't and it fails, it runs the else statement. Does that make sense? If that first one doesn't run, the else will run.
And what is the else?
The else in this case is whatever you want it to be, and which for theirs.
What is the function of else though? Like, else what? Else.
So if this fails, else will have code that will run, but it only runs if the statement is false. So like right here, we don't have to write a whoopsies. I forgot the else. Do I have an Instagram account? I do. I think it's, if you go to my channel page, it's on there. Although I'm not very active on it. I'm mainly active just on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. But
Very active on Facebook.
I do have one. Although all my pictures would be the same ones as I put on my thumbnails for Ask a Dev all the time. So you've seen all the good stuff. So here we say, if this is true, the result is bigger than 5. If this is false, skip this, run or else.
Else 5 or smaller.
Get it? All right, so let's play a game. 10. Our val is 10. What's the result?
On the if statement?
Yes. What is the result? What is result equal to? If our val is 10. Our parameter is 10.
That is true, and it runs the if statement.
Okay. And if it's 4, what happens?
It's false, and it runs the else statement.
Good. Did Aaron get any word yet on the position he applied to? Not that I'm aware of. So there's also these things called else-if statements.
We just went over that.
No, we went over an else statement. There's an else-if. Not an if-else, an else-if. So...
I feel like you're just trying to be funny now, but it's an actual thing.
No, it is an actual thing. It's a big part of the program. It's the else-if statement.
So there's an if-else, and there's an else-if.
Well, actually, there's an if, and there's an else, but there's an else-if. So there's 3 things.
Did a man develop this?
Probably 90% of men are in tech. Not that I think that has anything to do with it.
No.
Is this too logical for you right now? Is that what's going on?
No, it's just extremely tedious.
Tedious. This shit's like a gold mine. They used to have to put ones and zeros in this
Imagine
bitch.
if someone like me wrote this kind of language, it'd be all emotional.
It'd be like, sometimes
I feel like it.
Yeah, sometimes my code works.
Your code would either work or not work, depending on if it was a good day or a bad day.
Yeah. All right. So this
That's actually pretty bad. This is all just a really big joke, so no offense.
All right. So the else if statement, the way the else if statement works is it's basically a second if statement, but it only runs if the first one fails. So the else statement will run always if all of them fail. So let's say it goes if statement.
So if it goes through 10 if statements and they all fail, it goes to the else.
Yes. So
does it else first or else after? So when you're doing this, you put all the else's or you put all the ifs?
Well, there's only going to be one else ever, because that's just going to be, it runs when all the ifs fail. Now there's an else if, where say we start with an if.
Is that within a particular score? Or can you...
What do you mean?
Like, you have all these ifs, so... I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that.
All right. Well, let me explain the else if. So the way that an else if statement works is it checks an if statement first. You'll never start with the else, and you'll never start with the else if. Okay? So the else will always be the final one.
Is that just good practice? Or
No, it just won't work.
Oh, okay.
So it's good practice also, I guess. If it won't work, it's good practice. All right,
no, because good practice only requires that you do it this way because it's good, not that it wouldn't work.
Okay. So you always start with an if statement if that's what you're using. So in this case, if the value is greater than 10, return greater than 10. Now, this second statement, if the value is less than 5, doesn't make any sense why we would run this, because we already know it's greater than 10.
Okay, so it doesn't have to fail all of them. It just... So, okay, wait. What if one of them's true? Does the else thing...
That's where the else if comes into stage. So we only want this to run... So if this returns true, we don't want to run our else, and we don't want to run any if statements that are connected to it. So the way that we do it, the way that we connect these if statements, is we add an else in front of this. So similar to how the else only runs if the if is false, same goes for the else if. So if this is false, go ahead and run this. Now if this is true, we're done. Same thing here. If this is true, we don't run this. So, what?
Okay, so why does the second one get a if, else if, and not the first one, or any of them for that matter?
Kronzi, welcome. Thank you, Manu. I'm sure she will do her best.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers. That's right. All right, so you start with the if because you're checking. That's the first value you're checking. You're not comparing it to. There's nothing to run before it, so it's an if statement.
Oh, okay.
So the if is your first. Now after that, if you have another if statement that's related to this that you only want to run if this fails, you would do an else if. And the reason you would do that is so that your code would be faster, and there's no reason to run it if the first one already passed.
Right. So what if you have like 3 of them up there?
You would do another else if, and it would work the same way. So if we had another else if, and we're saying, look, so
if we had 3 ifs, if and then else if and then if and then else
if you did that, those would actually be 2 separate groups. So if you did if, else if, the first 2 would be related, and then the second 2 would be its own 2.
So they're always paired off.
Well, no, you could do another else if like this as well. But if you decided to do a new if statement, what you're basically saying is, hey, we have a new first one. It's not related to this other one.
So you can have multiple else ifs?
Yes. You have multiple ifs, multiple else ifs, but
What if you had if, else if, else if? It won't work.
if is its own first one, the second if is its own first one, and that else if is connected to the second if.
And if there's a second else if, is connected to the second.
To the second, so if its own thing, then it would be if, else if. So if that if failed, it would check the else if. If that else if failed, it would check the next else if.
Oh, that's cool.
And then
Sup, Cronzy?
Bitcode, have a good one, man. Thank you again for all the support.
Cronzy.
What's my point of view on Laravel? Laravel is probably
Bye, Bitcode. Thanks for the donation.
Is the most in-demand PHP framework right now. I think if you're trying to get good with PHP and you want to, that would probably be a good place to go, especially for the job market as well. It seems to be very well received. When I interviewed a PHP developer on my channel, he said the same thing, and I tend to listen to professionals for the most part. But
Yeah.
okay, I think you're getting this right.
Yeah.
Okay, and then finally, say they all failed, you'd have else. But remember,
What if the else wasn't true?
but the else is always true if it gets to there. It's not. Remember, it's not evaluating anything. It's just running.
Okay.
Oh, there you go, Compendium. Aaron has not heard yet about getting a job. I'm sure he'll hear shortly, though.
2 weeks is the minimum. 3 months is the max.
I got hired in like 4 days. But also, my work was new with starting a software. Yeah, I feel like if
they needed someone ASAP. Now, if you already have an up and running technology center, they may take a little bit longer. So
yeah, it's not uncommon. I would say you'll probably hear within a week, though. All right, so let's clear this and start fresh. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this if to an else if. So it only runs if this first one fails, right?
okay, yeah.
And then we're going to add an else that this only runs if both these fail. Okay.
How's your finger?
I don't know. We'll find out tomorrow. I get my hand gets checked up tomorrow, guys. Wish me luck.
9:15 a.m. tomorrow.
Yeah, you guys. According to April, you might be calling me Nubs from now on if my finger ain't all right. All right.
Nubs.
So this talks about doing things in logical orders. I had surgery on my hand. It's a long story. I'll probably do a video about it to show off the nasty photos and stuff for fun. We'll see. We'll see.
No. People are already telling you it's gross on Facebook.
Good luck. Thank you, Nathaniel.
6:52. What time are we getting on here?
We've been going 43 minutes.
Oh, okay. This looks like it's about to be hard.
So one thing to consider is that when you're writing these statements, you need to write them in a correct logical order.
Great.
So take this example right here.
Are there outlines to this? Is there good practice for...
I don't know what you're trying to get at right now.
So, like, there's this thing called chunking. So I'm wondering if there's, like already a set, like, good practice for what you just said, the logical order.
Well...
I still Me too.
I
gotta sleep next to it.
I make her kiss it before bed every night. I take off the bandage. I said, "Baby, kiss it and make it better."
My lips are magical.
All right. Anyhow, so Well, let's take the example we have here. When I talk about logical order, we want to make sure that we get the most correct if statement. Like, because some there may be multiple ones correct, but we want to get the most correct. All right. So in this,
What?
Yeah.
The most correct? That doesn't make sense.
So 10 is greater than. So in this, look at this. So say we have 7, or no, say we have 3. Then our number is 3.
Hey, thanks for the sub.
So if 3 is less than 10, it's going to return less than 10, right?
So because it's 3, and let's say you had a 7, the 3 would be more correct?
No. I'm telling you about how we're setting up our if statements. Our returning value. So in this
I
case,
thought you were trying to tell me what's most correct.
the most correct way, the return value, the most correct return value. So just let me walk you through it real quick.
Okay.
So if we have the value 3, it's going to return less than 10. It's never going to hit this else if, and it's never going to hit this else, right? Because we already got a true value.
Okay.
Make sense?
Okay.
But
So you need
3
4.
is less than 5 in this case, and less than 5 is a better answer than less than 10
Why is that?
because it's closer to it. What are you laughing about? Stupid. Or it's fucking. What is the problem?
Oh shit, that's so stupid. Oh my god.
So in this case, we want to get the most correct return. It's the most accurate, okay?
How is that the case? They're both less than.
Because this is less than 10, this is less than 5. We're getting where it's closer to.
Closer to what?
Closer to 5 than it is to 10.
But they're both ifs. They're both less than. They're both. If anything, the first one is more correct because it's way lesser.
No, baby, that is a crazy thing to say. That makes no sense.
Yeah, most correct. That's not crazy.
So,
I just had an inappropriate joke, so I'm not gonna say it.
so when you're setting up your if statements and your else statements, you need to make sure that you put them in logical order. The logical order for this example is that you would compare the value of 5 first, then you would compare the value of 10.
But it's switched on there. It's 10 and then 5.
Yeah, but we're gonna fix it. That's the whole point.
So what is it? Least to greatest?
Well, it depends on what your code is. In this case, it is.
This is the most correct thing. It's fucking absurd.
So it's called logical order.
Sure it is. Yep. Most correctly. How would it be using most correct?
Well, we want to know what number it's closest to, right?
Because that would make it most correct.
Yes, it would.
So stupid.
It's not stupid. It makes sense. All right, so to fix this, we would switch our statements and our returns. In this case, we could do something like this. We put it in the logical order. Because the way that you want it to work is you want it to hit only one statement in order. So it should never hit true before it's hit it should fail till it hits that true, and there shouldn't be another statement below it that's true.
Okay, that makes sense. But
that's
how is
that's
that
false,
most
rather.
correct?
Because in this statement, in this case, when we swap these values here, it's going to hit the first true value, and then there's a true value behind it. We don't want that. We want it to hit everything in order properly, in the logical order.
I feel like logic is now becoming subjective.
No, it's really not. It's closer to that number.
It's extremely subjective.
There's nothing subjective about it. It is.
I feel like logic cannot be logic if it's going to be subjective.
It's not subjective, though. So if we're trying to find...
Most correct is subjective.
No. All right. What we're trying to find is the number... If our task is to find... if it's between less than... Is it closer to being less than 5? Or is it closer being less than 10? That's our objective. And in order for us to do that, we have to put things in the correct logical order. Because a number like 3 is less than them both. But we want to know which one it's closer to.
It's going to be correct for both of them.
Yes, but we want to know which one it's closest to. Thus, we have to put it in the logical order. They both may be correct.
Closest to the number that it is. Because
the number that it's less than. So, if you have 10 and you have 5...
Okay.
We want to find the number it's closest to. Okay? That's all. I'm fucking right. That's all you got to know. God damn it. Alright, we're going to stop on that one, guys. We'll take questions for a bit. Thank you.
Only the most correct question.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, that's too
Oh
funny.
man. Alright, thank you to Bitcode again. And if you haven't already, guys, make sure to
And
join.
thanks for all the subscribes. Those are just as helpful.
Yeah, and if you haven't already, make sure to join the Facebook group. I'll throw it up in chat right now for you, but the link's also in the description if you're watching this at a later date. If I can get to it. How does April's portfolio work or look? Do you want to show off what you got?
Sure.
She's been reworking it a little bit. I told her to kind of go with the more standard portfolio and that we would...
No, we ended up deciding
Oh, yeah,
to reverse engineer their sample.
That's right.
Because that is also a good way to learn. And currently, I feel like that is more doable than maybe something that I would somehow bring up in my head. Okay. So...
Got a full page view.
That's what I'm doing.
So I asked her to, instead of creating her own portfolio, to reverse engineer the portfolio that is on there.
We agreed upon.
I said I asked. I didn't say, I told that bitch to make it.
Okay, so that is what it looks like now, but check this out. I got fucking fancy.
She got the hover effect going on. That's impressive. That you got the hover effect going.
Booyah!
What should I do after my unpaid internship? My parents want me to go back to school, but I don't have any passion for my major. Why don't you get a paid internship? I mean, once you start making your own money, at the end of the day, you can really do what you want. Another thing to do if you're interested in software, you could go ahead and join a boot camp. There's a lot of free ones out there that are hard to get into, but it depends if you're already a talented guy. You could do that, or you could do a paid one as well. Family science. Oh my God, kill yourself. No, that sounds rough, man. I wouldn't have any.
What's family science?
Like the inner workings of parentals and the inner workings.
Oh, that shit's really interesting. I took a psychology class, and they're saying that everything that you learn at home, you automatically use it as a basis to apply to the world. Seriously, it's really interesting. But if that's not your thing, then it's not your thing. And you know what? I was actually
he's a man. His name is Tony. He's a man. That is a straight up woman's major. 90% of the night. That's a woman's topic. Family science is a female subject.
And we wonder why the world it is today.
Anyhow, Shane, thanks, man. We got somebody from Australia. Nice. This is an international channel. I don't know if you know that, baby. Only 50% of my audience is from America. The other 50% is from around the world. They call me Mr. International. That's what they call me.
With all those kisses on your passport.
Yeah.
It looked like a paper resume. That sucks. I mean, Tony, when it comes to, there's a lot of talk about between passion and doing what's more beneficial, and they say that things that are more beneficial last longer and obviously are more beneficial for you and others around you who are going to benefit from your benefit. So, I mean, his parents don't understand what he does. My parents, you know.
They don't like me.
Let's not dive into my side of the family. Let's just forego that. Look, it's your life, and if you're going to sit there and let people, regardless of your family, it's about being respectful. If they can't respect your choices, you can at least be respectful towards them, but respect yourself at the same time. In fact, it's probably more important that you respect yourself and be respectful towards them, but they have to understand.
Yeah, let me give you some practical advice. Everything April's saying is true about having respect one another, but here's the practical advice, man. Is you have resume experience now with your unpaid internship, and I hope at the same time you're working on your skill set, which I'm assuming is software. I also hope that those skills that you're working on are in demand in the market so that you can go and get a paid internship now, and you can start making your own money. And if you work for a year and you realize, hey, I'm having trouble, or hey, I want to go back to school, change your major. Go into a different major. Go into a boot camp. But I think that'd probably be best for you if you don't like, unless you're 6 months away from graduating, a year away from graduating in your family sciences, I would really suggest that you consider getting the paid internship and doing school part-time in CS if you still want to go to school, maybe doing a boot camp, just some more practical things. Because life is short, man. As someone who hated school, I can tell you that I think
I love school. So, you know what? Here's a couple things to think about. That, and I absolutely agree. If you can physically, emotionally, and mentally afford going to school and doing your computer science thing at the same time, if you can do that, 100% power to you. Do it. Do it, do it, do it. Because just having some type of educational thing on your resume is not going to hurt you. But
and there's probably a lot of chicks in your class you could pick up on. Yeah. If I were to go back, I'd be a nursing major. But that's not a chick subject. Actually, all my nurses I ever get are fucking men. I don't know if they've been taken over. I got nurse take care of my hand. And
male nurses get paid more.
Well, clearly. I'm just kidding, baby.
This is what I have to deal with all day. It's like this, but it's like 100 times worse when the camera's off. He's really well behaved.
Well behaved, she is.
April, how do you like coding so far? Hey, James, thanks for re-asking that question. That's actually what I wanted to get to next, so appreciate it. How do I like coding so far? It is scary, pain in my ass, but it's something that I really do want to conquer. It is something that I really do want to get good at. It is something that I don't know if envy is the right word, but when I see Dylan do it and I see how good he is and how he's doing all these videos and helps other people teach them, it just goes to show you like how far he's gone to be so great at this. And it's just like, man, I want to do that too. So it's a leading example for me. And
I coded so hard I fucked my hand up.
Yeah. I'm not to say that I'm not competitive or a little cocky myself. God knows that I am, because...
You calling me cocky?
No, I'm calling me cocky.
I'm not cocky.
What I'm saying is, like, it's going to get to a point where I'm just a better coder than he is, so he's got to enjoy it while it lasts.
I would love for you to be a better developer than me, because...
I know, because then he would become the stay-at-home wife.
No. Because I would love nothing more than that. Recommend getting into object-oriented tutorials. So we're going to be hitting the object-oriented section down the road. But that right now is a little bit too much, I think, to jump to object-oriented when there's issues with logical order, if statement. Like, granted, in the moment, it's making a lot of sense because we're going over it. But a lot of this stuff, when it comes to coding, it makes sense because I'm here explaining it. I'm pounding it away. It's making sense to you guys right now. It's making sense to her. Let me bring her back here in 30 minutes and see if it still fucking makes sense. All I'm really doing is hoping that...
It has to, because the next day I'm doing my own notes, and that's what I'm doing. I have to recall, and if I can't actually recall in my own brain, I'll go to our videos and be like, ooh... Those videos have so many views on them simply because I go back so many fucking times to watch it.
Yeah, well, best of luck with you, Tony, man.
Best of luck.
As someone
it's a hard situation.
Yeah, as someone who was in school and fucking hated it, I'm guessing you're probably pretty young. You're probably if I had to guess, you're probably about 20, maybe 19. I didn't drop out of school until I was about 26. And it was probably the best decision I ever made, but everyone's life is different. And I'll be honest with you, man, I've had to work harder than most people to get to where I am. And I'm not very content with where I'm at. And I still work hard. Every day I come home, I code, I work on YouTube. I'm learning new things, I'm watching videos, I'm working on side projects. And there's a lot goes into all this. And it's helped me in my career. But it's a lot of work, man. And a lot of people wouldn't be able to do it. So if you are going to be kind of a self-motivated individual and self-taught, just know that it is just as much work, but it may be a better environment for you.
Yeah, so Dylan, he didn't thrive in the school environment, and for me, I did. So it really is down to a personal thing. Like, if someone wanted to pay me to go back to school, fuck yeah, 100%, I wouldn't hesitate. It would happen, like, right now. If I could career in being a student, I would. And with him, he is the exact opposite. So coming and understanding from both sides of the spectrum, it's every individual.
On that note, guys, we will leave you. Thank you. If you want to support, you can at Patreon. And join the Facebook group. We're actually this shit's growing pretty fast, guys. I don't know if you know. 1,375 members, so we're going to hit 1,400 pretty soon. And I should probably do a giveaway at 1,500, I think. So.
Or let me wax your chest.
No.
Yes.
No.
Everyone wants to see that.
Nobody wants to see that.
Everyone.
Anyhow, it's got nothing to do with coding. This is not going to become a weird... I'm not going to be that weird coding guy that lets you wax his chest.
No, you most definitely should.
Anyhow, do you want to send us out, baby?
A 1080. See, look at that. Lane wants to see it. Yes. Look, hey, everyone in chat, just spam that shit. Let's get this chest waxed. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
On that note, code long and prosper. No? Oh, my bad. All right, go ahead.
You butched it. You screwed it. It's done now.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Ready?
Oh, together?
1, on 2. 1, 2.
Code long and prosper.